Good Friday morning to you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Another week in the book. And appreciate you again joining me. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then we will jump back into the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 7 and 8. Paul says here in these verses a very warm, loving statement, very good model for believers today. Paul says, "It is right for me to feel this way about you all because I hold you in my heart. For you are all partakers with me of grace, both in my imprisonment and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel. For God is my witness, how I yearn for you all with the affection of Christ Jesus." Just really is a beautiful statement that Paul makes about not only his love and affection for the people of Philippi, but of their relationship with him and how steadfast it has been. This is a really good model for us to see, especially again the Philippian side of what Paul describes here. Paul is obviously sharing his great love for the people of Philippi, for the believers there in the church. He is very grateful for their partnership. He uses the word in verse 5. Here in verse 7, he says, "You've been partakers of with me of grace." He says, "So you have been my friend. You have stuck with me. We have been in this together. And because of that, you are in my heart. I love you. You are always in my heart, my thoughts. I pray the best for you, and you are partakers or partners. You have walked along beside of me. We are in this together. What a good attitude that would be for believers to really adopt that mindset and to keep that in mind. That as believers, we're all in this together. We're all partners. So many times it seems like we have church against church, that we act like we're in competition with each other instead of all of us striving together to build the kingdom and to overthrow Satan, to come against Satan. We act like we're trying to defeat each other. Even sometimes inside the church, there is division. The music department's feuding with the youth department because over a few budget dollars, instead of recognizing that they're both in the same struggle. And so Paul says, "I appreciate you being my partners. You have been in this with me." And notice what he says. Here's the real, I think, the real key component of what he says in this verse. He says, "You have been partakers with me of grace," and he says, "both in my imprisonment and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel." These folks had been Paul's friend. They had been by Paul's side when the gospel was spreading, when everything was going well, when Paul was out and moving about and spreading the gospel. They had been there. They had supported him with prayer, with finances. They had been there to stand beside of him. And when he ended up in jail for preaching that same gospel, they continued to stand beside of him. They weren't just, good time friends. They weren't just friends who were there when everything was going good. As the old years ago, the old song said, "If you got no more money, honey, I got no more time." And a lot of folks, a lot of friends are that way. They somebody is. I love this saying. It's one that I don't know who said it, but I heard it a long time ago, and I've used it quite often because it really speaks to me. It says, "A real friend is one that walks in when everybody else walks out." And that's how Paul describes the Philippian church and the believers in Philippi. And because of that, he says, "God is my witness. I yearn for you with all the affection of Christ Jesus. I love you." We need to be those kind of friends, to our fellow believers. The church needs to have that type of love for each other, whether it's a good day or a bad day, whether things are going good or bad, when the gospel is being spread or when it lands you in prison. Either way, that we stand beside of each other and continue to love each other and support each other, to help each other, to care for each other, to have that unity and that support one for another. Paul says, "You are partakers of me, both in imprisonment and the defense and the confirmation of the gospel." Let's be those kind of believers that stand with other believers, even when maybe it's not the popular thing to do. All right, think about it. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.